Hello, this is Dr. Lori Ernstberger, and welcome to Behavioral Training Resource Center. Today's topic is on checking implementation fidelity in the classroom. What is implementation fidelity? It's a measurement of the adherence to the IEP. So what we're looking at is to what degree is that IEP and all the elements of the IEP being implemented as it was written, as it was planned by that team. So let's say we got together as a team and we wrote the perfect IEP. We covered everything from functional performance through supplementary aids, accommodations, modifications, wrote some perfect goals. And now it's time to implement. Well, now the next step means we need to look at the level or the degree to which all of those elements, all those components were implemented to the highest degree of fidelity, meaning as they were written. Now, I had an aha moment. Back in June 2013, I was reading Teaching Exceptional Children, and I read an amazing article. I want to get the names of the authors: Collier, Meek, Fallon, Sonetti, and Maggott. And the name of the article, this is June 2013, Teaching Exceptional Children, and the name of the article is Focus on Implementation. And the whole purpose of that article was to say we can't just look at student progress by itself. We can't just look at the grades or look at data in terms of behavioral data without looking at and examining specifically to what degree was the IEP implemented as we designed. So we wrote this great IEP, the gold star of IEPs, and was it implemented to 100% fidelity? And the whole article just really gave me that aha moment. So how do we do that? How do we check for implementation fidelity? And I want to go through some of the main steps so that you can do this. First of all, keep it short and simple. Pick a student that you're concerned about their progress. And what I want you to do is select out of the IEP 5 to 7 specific elements. So those components that have to be implemented for that student to be successful. So anything from special education services, related services, maybe we're looking at different accommodations and modifications. Pick out the ones and write them down very concretely. Use a Word document, a little checklist. And then you're going to use a Likert scale, a scale of 1 to 3. 1 meaning that that component or that specific element or modification is being rarely implemented. So either 0, it's not being implemented, or it's rarely being implemented in the classroom. So maybe that might look like a child who is in the IEP is supposed to be receiving occupational therapy twice a month, and they haven't received any occupational therapy because we can't find an occupational therapist. We would give that component of the IEP a 1. A 2 is that it's being sometimes implemented. So let's say we have written in the IEP that this student requires a token economy system for reinforcement. But yet, that token economy system is only being implemented in some of the classes, but not in all classes, not throughout the continuum of placement options. And a 3 means it's being implemented consistently across placement options. So you have your key components, maybe 5 to 7, you have your Likert scale, and now you're going to distribute that document to all the staff that work with that child. So the PE teacher, so all my regular ed teachers and support staff, paraprofessionals that might work with the child, related services, yourself, and you're going to grade yourself. It's a self-assessment. Am I implementing each of these components to 100% fidelity? We've got to be honest here. We have to be held accountable. It's not just up to the student to do the work. We've got to do the work. We're going to collect that, and as a team now, we're going to come back together and say, who needs some more coaching? Who needs maybe some more training on some of these elements that are in that IEP? Maybe the PE teacher really doesn't have a good grasp of knowledge on token economy systems or how to do it in a PE setting. And so that gives us an opportunity to provide objective feedback, because now we have some data on implementation fidelity, and we can go to that specific staff member and say, well, we've only rated a 1 or a 2 for that component. We've got to get everybody implementing to 100%. We need 3s across the board. That's the goal. And that may not happen all the time, but it might give us some very important data for future training. Remember, online training on this topic is offered through Behavioral Training Resource Center. Now, why is this important? Why do we look at implementation fidelity? Because student outcomes are tied to the adult implementation of the program. So no matter what this gold star IEP that we've written, if it's only being implemented 30% of the time, 50% of the time, we can make a specific degree of implementation to a specific outcome for the student. So I want you to think about, when is the last time you asked yourself and the team, to what degree are you implementing this IEP? Are we giving specific evaluative, objective feedback? Are we providing that really crucial coaching and training and follow-up? We need to look at not only student outcomes when we do progress monitoring, we need to be looking at implementation fidelity. So I hope that gave you some very specific ways to conduct checklists for implementation in the classroom. Try it on one student, so you don't have to go full board. Select a student, select a team that you can work with and look at their implementation, and then give each other feedback. I hope this helps. If you want to learn more about this topic, go to Behavioral Training Resource Center, look at our library of courses, sign up for a course today, and I'll see you in class.